In this video, we're going to talk about the different types of municipal bonds. So general obligation bonds, which are otherwise known as GO bonds, are backed by the full faith and credit of the issuer. And what does that specifically mean? Well, it means that it's backed by the power to tax. So the county, the city, they have an ability to raise taxes if need be. They could, for example, raise property taxes, right? So if they say to an investor, look, we're giving you a general obligation bond, and we're actually going to back that with our ability to tax. So we have, in some cases, an unlimited ability to tax, in theory. So basically, we could raise property taxes if need be in order to satisfy the interest payments or to pay back this bond. So it's generally seen as low risk because they're saying, look, we'll basically back this up. We'll raise taxes if need be to service this debt. Now, a revenue bond, on the other hand, is not saying, oh, look, we'll just raise taxes if we get in trouble or something like that. It's actually backed by a specific revenue stream. And when I say a revenue stream, what I'm talking about is, let's say that a city decides that they want a new road, and then they issue a revenue bond to raise any income to build this road. Well, they're going to have, let's say they're going to have a toll, right? So this is going to be a toll road. So now they say, look, we're going to get income from that toll, and then we're going to use that. We're going to pay the investors with that, right? So we're going to pay the interest. We're going to pay the face value of the bond when it matures. We're going to pay back based off of this revenue stream that we're generating from the project, right? So now we've got this money, we've got this revenue earmarked, and we're actually going to be giving that to our investors, right? That's going to, well, not all of it, of course, but our interest and our face value when we pay off the bond is going to come out of that revenue stream. Now, this is going to have more risk, right? So this is going to be riskier than a general obligation bond. And the reason is that this revenue stream might not materialize. What if we don't get as many cars driving on this toll road as we thought we were going to? Then the investors are going to lose out because this bond is backed by revenue, right? It's backed by this revenue stream. It's not backed by just this general obligation and the city saying, look, we'll raise taxes if we can't get the money together. It's not like that. So it's actually, it's more risk than a general obligation bond. Now, a pre-refunded bond actually has the least risk of all because it's backed by a U.S. Treasury bond. Now, that might sound really odd to you. You're thinking, hey, look, I thought this municipality is raising money. How are they then going to go and have U.S. Treasury bonds that are backing up this debt? And so it works kind of in a funny way. Basically, let's think of that you have this issuance. So we'll call it bond issue A, right? You issue bonds at 5.5%. Now, let's say the interest rates drop, and they drop to 3%. So now you say, you know what, I want to refinance, right? I should say the municipality wants to refinance. So they have another bond issuance. They issue bond issue B for now 3% rate, right? Now, normally, if you're thinking like a mortgage or something like that, you're just thinking, well, okay, now you just take the proceeds from bond issue or from this second time you raise capital, and you just pay off your original debt, right? However, here's the problem. That a bond can't just be paid off, right? Because the investors are entitled to a certain return until the maturity, unless the bond is callable, right? So let's say that this bond issue A is callable at a certain point. What does that mean? It means that the municipality has the right to buy back this bond at a certain point, right? But what if it's only callable, let's say, after 10 years? Right? So let's say it's a 30-year bond, but it's only callable after 10 years, and so we haven't gotten to 10 years yet. Let's say it's only been 4 years when they reissued this new bond issue to get the 3% rate. So let's say this is 4 years later. So now they say, well, wait a minute. Now we just got this nice interest rate. However, we can't just pay this off. So what they would do is they would actually buy a bunch of U.S. Treasury bonds, right? Because now they've got this second set of proceeds here, right? They basically raised, let's say they raised $1,000 here, and they raised $1,000 here. I know that's a low amount, but so let's say that Now they can say, look, well, we're going to take the proceeds here, this $1,000, and we're actually going to buy $1,000 of treasury bonds that will mature at the same date that this bond issue A can be called. And if that's too complex, don't worry. I'm going to put together another video on pre-refunded bonds. But typically, just know that they're typically rated AAA because they're backed by U.S. Treasury bonds, so they have the lowest risk out of all the different types of municipal bonds. However, they're going to have a shorter maturity because of the whole nature of what they're doing here, right? They're basically refinancing, but they can't pay off this bond issue until it's callable. So as soon as it's callable, they're going to go ahead and buy back this bond. So you're going to have a shorter maturity, although you'll be getting a better interest rate than this 3%, right? But then you'll have to pay a premium to get this bond issue. So there's pros and cons to the pre-refunded